Xiaomi's range of smartphones are a superb example of the law of diminishing returns. When it comes to spending money on hardware, for £200 you get something incredibly capable. That will do 98% of everything most people need, such as the Poco X3 NFC reviewed in this phone show. For £650 here on Amazon for this Xiaomi Mi 11 you get some extras. A 120Hz AMOLED screen, QHD resolution rather than 1080p, a more cutting-edge processor, more RAM, Qi charging and fast charging speeds for wired as well. Then for an expected £900 or so in the new Mi 11 Ultra edition, launched yesterday, you'll also get a good periscope telephoto camera, giant almost 1-inch optical format main camera sensor, gimmicky selfie secondary display, even faster charging and more storage options. Now clearly the latter, the Mi 11 Ultra, is not 4.5 times as good as the Poco X3 NFC, but each phone is a general improvement as you go up the price scale. It's just that the law of diminishing returns means that the features per price tier isn't linear, making, if you can afford this £600 or £650-ish, the baseline Mi 11 here something of a sweet spot in terms of high-end value, i.e. you're not paying crazy money for features which you'll rarely use. Now spec highlights here include a true flagship AMOLED display, 6.8 inches of Gorilla Glass Victus, second only to the iPhone's ceramic shield tech. A QHD resolution, 120Hz refresh rate with excellent viewing angles in all conditions. Everything is, as they say on the 361 podcast, buttery smooth. Then there's the charging setup. A 4,600 milliampere battery gets easily through the day with charge to spare. The Type-C port supports very fast 55-watt wired charging via power delivery standard and Quick Charge 4+, terrifically flexible from any high-power mains charger. Plus, again, very fast 50-watt Qi wireless charging and 10-watt reverse charging for accessories. All very flagship. Ditto the Snapdragon 888 chipset, 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage or more if you pay. This benchmarks on Geekbench 5 at 1123, the highest I've ever seen, on Android at least, and drives the now fairly familiar MIUI 12 on top of Android 11, complete with optional app drawer, comprehensive theming and Google Newsfeed off to the left of the home screens. Now there are some oddities. It's the first time I'd encountered an anti-malware scanning engine leaping in to check Play Store downloads on the fly. Now I found a way to turn this behaviour off. It's not obvious, but I guess it could stop casual users from side-loading malware, so heck, why not? Now, a real highlight again for Xiaomi is imaging, and as I contend they're rivaling Google now in image processing and competing with the best of Apple, all that ProRAW A14 goodness. The large f/1.9, 108 megapixel main camera at 1/1.33 inch optical format outputs at 27 megapixel and 4.3, so 20 megapixels or so in 16:9, and images are beautifully detailed. And crucially not ruined with Samsung-esque edge enhancement. I did back-to-back tests with my iPhone and my Windows PureView phone cameras, and this absolutely kept up. There's a very good ultra-wide for fun, though I didn't test this beyond the shots here. A focusing 5 megapixel macro camera is here too, also for fun, though the novelty of this will wear off after a few shots when you realise how disgustingly dusty and dirty your life is. I think I'd rather not know. The obvious omission for a smartphone of this price, mind you, is a telephoto camera. Yes, the 108 megapixel unit can do 2 times without too many problems, but anything further, and it's all software. So I guess it depends on how much you ever want to go beyond 2 times, also in stills. Video testing on the Mi 11 with the slightly cinematic smooth zoom. That's ultra wide to 6 times. And back. The fingerprint scanner is, well, optical and under the display, and it's adequate. It didn't like my right-hand thumb, but then several other phones also don't like this, so perhaps it's me. My left-hand thumb worked just fine with a 1-second recognition delay. Yet again, I prefer the Xiaomi budget phones with their side-mounted capacitive scanners. 5 years ago, every Android phone had a capacitive scanner and authentication was instant and 100% reliable. It worked. I'm just saying. The stereo speakers are, again, adequate. I know, damning with faint praise. Here's a demo, 80% volume because full volume tends to distort the hardware. It's Brahms' Piano Concerto No. 1. It's not just Stuart, it's all very middling. There's very little bass, very little top end, but hey, it's stereo. Probably the same components as in the budget stereo Xiaomi, sadly. You would have thought some meatier components would be justified here for the Mi 11. Although perhaps there wasn't room. The Mi 11 is surprisingly slender in the hand for its screen and battery size and has very, very little bezel. Oh, and notice that for once I didn't mention the lack of a 3.5mm headphone jack. Oh, dull. There's no official IP rating here, but numerous tests have shown water resistance. So in this case, it's probably just Xiaomi not wanting to pay for the IP certification. They did go on about how expensive it was in their Mi 11 Ultra launch just now. A clear case is supplied in the box, so this one is a slightly sleeker third-party alternative, thanks to James Honeyball, who lent me the Review Mi 11. There's a lot to like about the Mi 11 in terms of sheer horsepower and dazzling user experience. And if you want flagship speed but not a top whack price tag, then you can't go far wrong here. In fact, that should be something of a 2021 slogan. You can't go wrong by buying Xiaomi. Personally, I'd have traded some of this horsepower for a telephoto lens and better speakers, but that's just me. The price here is important to how much of a bargain this is. James snaffled his off the slow boat from China for £495, which is amazing. Xiaomi UK's prices vary wildly from day to day, as usual, depending on which offers they've got on and what the marketing manager had for breakfast. But I think be patient, try for under £600 and you'll have a very decent buy on your hands. Note that the full RRP here of $750 I think is too high, but then who ever pays RRP for a Xiaomi phone? This is the Mi 11. I was quite impressed.